Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this Nightbird video. Obviously, we did a monstrous live stream for our live reaction and then breakdown after of what went down today. But I wanted to get this into a shorter video, that thing going on over 6 hours. So I was hoping to get it into like a half-hour video. To be honest with you, this may go longer than that because there's so much for us to talk about. First thing I want to say is how amazing what we got today was. You have to remember when we woke up this morning, we didn't quite know what to expect. And I was saying that I thought it would connect to that missing woman because that feels like it's quite a big mystery. It'd be a weird thing to not kind of continue that. So I felt like she would feature in some way, but I was not expecting what we ended up getting. And that was basically the therapy session. So we saw the therapy session. Now, there's a lot of theories doing the rounds, and I'm sure we'll touch on this again. I think currently it was Uncle Howdy that was in that therapy session. I've heard lots of different names getting mentioned. What about if it's an old therapy session and it was Bray from back in the day, right? Which I think is really interesting. So that's really interesting. I've heard people saying it could be Gacy because of the smiley faces. So that was mentioned during our live stream, right? I think it was Mr. Burt Wayne that came up with that one. I think for me personally, I've rewatched it and it's Uncle Howdy that feels like it fits the most comfortably to me. So what we got was, obviously at the time we clicked on the door link. It didn't work for me at the time. And then people were like, go to WWE's Twitch accounts. So I went over there and the video had just started. So I just carried on watching. Later, I was told that the door link on the QR code, it did and still does take you to WWE's Twitch account, right? So there's a few theories about, is it going to be Cinnamon? Is it going to be this Nightbird account? It was none of those. It was on WWE's Twitch account. To get there, the door link was what you needed to click. So that was correct. It didn't work straight away. The video seemed to have started before they uploaded it to the link or corrected the link. Doesn't matter. We still found it. We still got there. No one seemed to struggle with that bit, so that was good. No one left behind, so that was good. And obviously, it starts off with Kane, right? So we see Kane coming down to the ring. It's been pointed out, actually, and big shout out to everyone that worked this out. So Nostalgically says, Kane is interesting because that's Undertaker's brother. Bo is Bray's brother, so it's got some nice symbolism there, which I really like. But I Bup Your Nose came out on our live stream and said that that was actually a clip from, I think, July 8th, and that was the debut of the Wyatt family. So that clip was that moment. So we know what the moment is. We know that Kane was the first person that the Wyatts went after, and it's a clip from that show. It was also pointed out, actually, that there is a little moment where Vicky is in the ring, and she says, welcome to Monday night. And as she's saying Raw, there's some disruption and it kind of changes and it does sound a little bit like Bray. That was pointed out in our live stream, right? It does sound a little bit like Bray. I don't know that it is Bray. It might just be that it's just distortion, disruption. But it was pointed out that that does sound like the word Bray. And when you go back, you can sort of hear that. So again, though, is it just because that's what I was listening out for that I heard it? It's hard to say. So it starts with this moment with Kane and Kane coming down to the ring. And as we said, the symbolism with him being the brother of Undertaker. And him being a darker superstar, a mysterious superstar, and it being from the moment that we got the Wyatt debut. Lots of imagery and connections there. Then that kind of broke down and we saw the office. We saw the office, the therapist office. And I don't know about you, when we saw the office, it was amazing. When we actually got a chance to see the office. So here was the office. That's the therapist. If we keep going down there, that's a better shot of it. So when we first went to it, it was just the empty chair. And it was this shot. She wasn't in the room when we first went to it. And yeah, it was so cool because the mirror is the mirror from those images. The throw here, the tassels on the end, they are also seen in one of those images from Monday. There was so much here that you was like, that's the chair from Monday, that's the tassels and the throw from Monday, that's the mirror from Monday. And there was so much that you go, wow, like the floorboards are the floorboards from Monday as well. So we were seeing the therapy session. And what was amazing was that I thought this clip would go 3 minutes. It went over 50, right? It went over 50. We saw the vast majority, not quite everything, but we saw the vast majority of that therapy session. We actually saw Uncle Howdy, I believe it was Uncle Howdy, writing down the responses to the questions he was being asked. He didn't talk, he just wrote the responses down. And she had to keep getting up and grabbing them, right? Now, one of the big things that I've saw people saying is that she didn't cast a reflection. And what I want to just take this moment to point out whilst we've got this image, look at this bookshelf here. This bookshelf is obviously just one bookshelf, right? But then look at the mirror. The mirror is showing a divide down this bit. So it's showing this part of the bookshelf and then this part with yellow books and stacked up books that we can't see. We can't see that bit. So the mirror is clearly facing like part of the bookshelf. It's reflecting probably part of the bookshelf that's about here, say. So the way that the room is shaped and angled seems like it's not a perfect square. It looks like this wall here is kind of angled in maybe a bit because the mirror is actually reflecting part of the bookshelf that's a bit further down. Now, the reason why this is important is because that says to me that this isn't a square room. It says to me that the perspectives are off a little bit. The mirror is reflecting something we actually can't see. And so for me, like, I think that it's very difficult to say that she didn't have a reflection and all that kind of stuff. Like, did you notice when she stood up, you couldn't see her? Because I actually think that there's a few things that are a little bit off here from a perspective point of view. And what I would say is if you go back to about 14 minutes 45 in the video and around that area, you'll see that kind of when she sits back down, you can see a slight little reflection at the bottom of the mirror. So there is a reflection that's there. It is true. It does look strange when she gets up that you don't see her in the mirror. But as I said, I think the perspectives are a little bit off. I think actually she's maybe a little bit below the mirror, maybe a little bit over to the side of the mirror. When she stands up, I think she's actually away from the mirror's reflection, if that makes sense. I know we're spending a long time on it, but it was a big talking point in our live stream. People trying to figure out why doesn't she have a reflection. That then led to theories that she didn't exist. This led to theories that she was a figment of Uncle Howdy's imagination. And all of that was built on the fact she doesn't have a reflection, right? So this is why it's important to kind of nail down the fact that I believe she did. I believe she's real. I believe she's missing. I don't think she's a figment of Uncle Howdy's imagination. I just think that the perspectives of the room were a little bit off. And as I said, if you go back to about 14 minutes, 40 odds, I think it's when she sits back down, you can actually see some movement in the mirror as she sits back down. You can sort of just get the top of her head. So I wanted to make sure that we got that across. So the mirror, the floor, the chair, the throw, all of that was really exciting. I want to give a shout out to Kieran. Kieran was the one that pointed out the URL for this stream. It's 214-741 8516. Now, I've been told by a lot of people you can't really manipulate a Twitch stream like you can a URL for the WWE website. So don't go reading into it, which I think is really fair. I think that's probably correct. I think there's probably not a hidden message there. I think some people have tried to call the number and stuff like that. Dead end after dead end after dead end. The only thing that has been found is that apparently the 214 at the start, that is the area code for Dallas. And obviously, Bo Dallas is a pretty fun connection. I think that's just a coincidence, to be perfectly truthful. I think it's just a coincidence because no one can find an explanation for the other numbers. And also, it is true because it's on Twitch. I don't think you can manipulate that URL like you can on the WWE.com website. So hopefully that makes a bit of sense. So we've got all of that. The other thing that we need to point out, and I'm sure a lot of this will feature in other posts that we're going to look at, is this soft toy up here. So this has been identified as a Pokemon, and apparently the name of this is the same name as Matt Hardy's daughter. Right. The other thing that needs to be pointed out as well, and this was another one that got people excited, was this mirror and how it looked like Bray. Right. And I know that sounds crazy, but once that seed has been planted in your head, then you do go, oh, yeah, I can sort of see it now. So this would be the eyes, these bits here. Obviously, the mirror is the overall face. Down here, you've got the chin, maybe a little bit of a beard, but it's this top bit here with the kind of, you know, how he had his hair in a bit of a bun, tied up his dreads and had them tied back. You can sort of see that with this top bit here, which is kind of really interesting. So people have looked at that and they've seen Bray. And do you know what? That might not have been intentional, but if it isn't, it's just a lovely little thing, isn't it, anyway? It's just a lovely little thing anyway. So don't know if it was intentional or not. It is true that when she, before she walks into the room, this looks a little more normal, shall we say. Like you can make out the detail at the top of the mirror. These areas don't look as black, but just before she knocks on the door and then kind of walks into the room, it changes to this. And it gets a lot darker. I think it's the contrast. Like the blacks get blacker. The darker areas get darker. And then she walks into the room. The other thing that I want to make sure that I get across is in a lot of those previous QR codes, we've seen like a blue old handy cam kind of, you know, when you had a video camera recorder. And it had like play at the top and record and stop. And it had a blue screen and all of that as you were filming. I get the impression that what we're seeing here is the therapy session. But I think we're seeing it through the lens of a camera. And it only dawned on me after that a lot of therapists record their sessions. I think so that they can kind of look back and go back over the answers. And maybe if they miss some at the time, they can go back and go, I went back and watched the tape. And this part here where you answered this, I didn't notice it at the time, but there was a hesitation or something. And I think that that is why they record these sessions. So I feel like what's happening here is Uncle Howdy is at a therapy session, maybe because of the loss of Bray, and obviously can't open up. And he's being asked a lot of questions, is responding with notes. And the reason why we've got this footage is because this therapy session is being recorded. Now, I suppose I've never been to therapy. I would think that it would be the person that's receiving the therapy would be the one that was being filmed. This is her that's being filmed. I don't know how normal that is for the therapist to be the one that's being recorded, but it's obviously the camera is on her and not on Uncle Howdy, right? So I don't know how strange that is. It feels a bit strange, but yeah, this is what we ended up getting. It ran for 50 minutes. The reason why I said we didn't get everything is because obviously it starts getting a bit dark at the end. I've actually got it written down. So we find out some extra bits that we didn't know on Monday, and she says, how can I help you? And the response is, watch and wait. And then it carries on. He lives there. You can't find him unless you want to find him. And then the music gets darker and darker. And then I think she turns over the page and maybe sees all of those Pluto symbols. And she says, what does this represent? And obviously she doesn't get an answer because he doesn't answer her directly, verbally throughout this whole thing. Who are these people? And it's, you know, by this point, the music's quite like got a drone on it and it's all really spooky. And then obviously it just cuts from that and it goes to the article of her missing. So we don't actually see a struggle or an abduction or a kidnapping or anything like that. It's kind of left to your memory or your mind as to what has happened. But I think all the way up to the builds of that moment, we kind of see this whole session. It was brilliant, captivating, very slow. There was a lot of asking questions and waiting as Howdy was doing an answer, right? There was a moment where she left the room for ages so that Howdy could write a load of stuff down. And, those kind of moments were interjected with a lot of imagery that we had seen from a lot of previous QR codes. I've no doubt there's imagery in there that's being shown for the first time. And obviously the biggest reveal was right at the end. That is what they want you to focus on. The biggest moment, the biggest reveal was right at the end of that 50 odd minutes when we ended up with this. So Jay Villa, shout out to you. If we actually play this, look, you can see there that this is on a loop, and this was the final image that we got. Now, it's very, very difficult, this, right? It's very, very difficult because we don't quite know what this is, or where this is looking. Is this like a head that's looking down like that? You know, is this the mouth, nose, eyes, right? And then it's got something on its head. Right? Is this some sort of a mask here with something on its head? Or are these the eyes here? And this is like a mouth? Lots of people look at this and see this as the mouth, these as the eyes, right? Which means this is the head up here and this is the body, right? So this is one arm. That is the other arm. And you might just see the hands kind of come up momentarily, right? The hands kind of coming up. But is this the face looking down? Or is this the face kind of, and that's just the mouth there, and that's the tongue? So hard to figure out what this is. This is the big talking point. This is what everyone's got their theories on. And one of the theories, which again should be in this video in a bit, is that she's been kidnapped. She's tied up. She's actually in a chair tied up. And this is her with some sort of mask, some sort of bag over her face. What we are seeing at the end of that therapy session is her being kidnapped. She's tied up. And this is her, like, kind of coming around, if you will. She's tied down, which is why her hands come up like this, but she's tied down at the wrists. So is this the reveal of a new creation that's come in? Is this a reveal of a evolved Uncle Howdy? Is this the reveal of the new Eric Rowan character? I mean, that could be like a sheep's mask. Lots of people thinking this is based on the Bludgeon Brothers, right? So could it be, and we've got pictures coming up. So is this based on that? Is this based on, as we said, you know, the Fiend? Lots of people thinking this is a big open mouth here, very much like the Fiend's lantern. That's another theory that's come in. Or is it a bag over her head and she is tied down because she's been kidnapped? We don't know is the answer. We don't know. I would love to sit here and go, guys, this is what it is, right? I would love to sit here and say that to you, but I can't because we don't know. And the other thing as well is this is a loop. It's on loop of a certain little moment, right? There was actually a little bit more to this clip, and if you freeze it at different points, you sort of see different things. So this is a little bit different from another image we will look at in a bit. But this is how it ended, and that was the major talking point, to be honest. That was the major talking point. So some really, really interesting stuff for us to get our teeth into. The Pokemon toy we've spoken about, lots of images interrupting, and images interrupting at key times as well. Like there was one where she said, what's it like to be around other people? And then one of the images that interrupted was the bride. So it does feel like the bride is one of his new acquaintances, right? Maybe one of the people that has been set free, that he's set free. I feel like that bride, a lot of people saying, is the bride her? I don't think it is, only because I kind of feel like the camera recording that's recorded the therapy session, it keeps getting interrupted with imagery. I don't know that that would be imagery from the future, because of course she's sat there doing this therapy session. So would the camera keep cutting out and showing glimpses of the future? I mean, the fact it's cutting out and showing imagery at all is obviously scary and not what you would expect. But I don't know, would it show imagery of the future? There was other thoughts that you might have seen a car driving, and obviously you've seen that wooden shack. There was thoughts that this was images of her and what was next for her. So after this, she's in the car and we see that car journey, and then we go to the shack because we want to introduce her to these new friends, these people that he has set free. So there was that thought that they were on the way to introduce her to these people. Again, I don't know that I can really subscribe to that, only because, again, there was a moment where we're driving on the roads and we see that car that's driving, and I think it says something about setting them free. So I get the feeling that it's him on his way to set them free. That's the impression I get. I think he's already set them free by the time he sees this therapist. So I don't know that he's taking her in that moment to go and see them. I think that was him going to set them free. But we'll explore it. We'll dig into all of it. I know it might be getting a little bit confusing. Stick with me. Bear with me. We've got a lot of stuff to look at. We're going to obviously blitz through it. And a lot of the things we're going to look at here is stuff that we've just spoke about. So, right. Here's Alexa. I think, did this get deleted? Did that get... Yes, it did. It did get deleted. So that's, thank God I saved it, to be honest. So this tweet here by Alexa, hi, it's me, lol, right? That has been deleted. This doesn't exist anymore, but I bookmarked it before she deleted it. So we got it, yes. So that has now been deleted. Hi, it's me, lol. So this was just moments after that thing ended. I think it might have been deleted maybe because she's hinting that that thing at the end is her. She's hinting it's her. She's hinting she's behind this. And maybe she's thinking like, oh, actually, I don't want to derail whatever it is they've got planned. Word on the street is she's coming back, but coming back later. So what we're doing right now, she might have some knowledge of where it's going, but she might not actually be a part of this. So she might have tweeted this out, it's me, having a little bit of fun with it, right? But then she might have realized, oh, actually, I don't know where this is going and I don't want to derail this, and so she might have deleted it as a result. Don't know. Hard to know. Interesting that she tweeted out and then deleted it, though. Right, Jonathan said Eevee Pokemon plush. It does look very, very similar. In fact, I would say yes. I mean, I can see an eye, I can see a mouth, I can see the banana collar. I mean, it looks the same, doesn't it? So, yes. And apparently it's got 6 evolutions, which is very interesting. The other thing as well is people have pointed out that Matt Hardy's daughter is called Eevee. And so is it a case that it is a nod to Matt Hardy. I don't think this means Matt Hardy is going to be a part of this, but Matt Hardy is still a part of this. Him and Bray were the deleter of worlds. So you can't ignore the history in the past. You know, there would be lots of ways of acknowledging Matt Hardy, of course. Lots of different ways. Is this one way that you would choose to do it? I don't know. I don't know that you would want to get a soft toy that is named after Matt Hardy's daughter, hide it in the background, because, I don't know, it's a bit unnerving bringing in someone else's kids, isn't it? You know? It's one thing to... There's so many ways to acknowledge Matt Hardy. So many things that you could do. You know, you could have like a Hardy figure, or you could have the logo in the background, or, you know, lots of different bits. But I don't know, to do this could be a reference. I don't know. I don't know that it is. It would be a bit strange to acknowledge Matt's daughter and that be a way of it acknowledging Matt. Don't know. But it is the same in my mind. That is a Pokemon plush. Perhaps she just likes Pokemon. Do you know what I mean? Maybe we just need to accept that she's a therapist. She might have to deal with kids. So she's got a soft toy, and the soft toy she's got is this, which turned out to be a Pokemon. Perhaps it's nothing more than that, but something for you to be aware of. Right, it's Bryn again, said the therapist could be the brides. Harley Quinn was originally a therapist who worked in the prison where Joker was. Joker would pay visits for weeks, and eventually Harley Quinn would become his partner. In this situation, Howdy is the Joker. The only reason I struggle with that is because, of course, we're seeing the bride interrupting the video recording, so those would have to be glimpses of the future. But the fact anything is interrupting that video is obviously strange. So that it could be that she becomes the bride. I think the bride talks about being set free and all of that stuff. And I don't think this therapist needs to be set free. So that's another little stumbling block that I've got, you know. Or perhaps she needs to be set free, and right now she didn't even know that she needed to be set free. Difficult. Right now, I'm going to say that this woman doesn't go on to be the bride. I think the bride is someone different. I don't know quite how this therapist is going to fit into things, because she's an actress, I would imagine. I know a lot of people said it's that comedian woman, but I watched a lot of her TikToks, and I don't know that these are the same women. I don't know that this is the same person as the one that was in those vignettes from 2019. I've got a doubt about it. So I don't know that those two are the same women. In regards to whoever this person is, she has not been seen before, to my knowledge, so I think they've only brought her in for this. So I don't know that she's going to be sticking around. I don't know that she's a member of the Wyatt Six. Like, what's the plan? How do we get her out of this story? I mean, do we just kill her and bump her off? Might be easiest. It's probably the simplest way, isn't it? Let's just have her killed. Bump her off. Done. You know, no loose ends. And that's probably for the best. But, yeah, I don't know how we're going to get out of having her around, because I don't think she's going to be a full signed member of this group. Jills said, does anyone else see the Fiend mask in this ending shot, or is it just me? So people are seeing the Fiends. I mean, I thought, and I can still see that this looks like a snout. My very first, what I saw at first, and I was like, I think I know what this is. My first reaction was a wolf in grandma's clothing, which I know sounds very strange, but it has featured before, because that's part of a nursery rhyme. You know, the wolf eats grandma and then wears her clothes. And it did feature in White Rabbit. And I was like, this looks like a wolf. And, you know, that could be like a bonnet, and that could be... It sounds silly, but when we actually looked at the picture, the image from White Rabbit was of a different perspective. It was side on, whereas this looks face on, so it's not the same. But this is the kind of conversation that's being had. It messes with your head. Was the Twitch stream titled Hello? It was, yes. Is that a reference to Uncle Howdy? Hello being another way of being howdy. Yep, Reese, shout out to you. I think that's really good. Here we've got Compel X PSD. Oh, hello. Don't follow. I do know. What is that on the notebook? Can't tell. But apparently on the, I'm guessing it's like in between the pages, it looks like something is written. Don't know that it's important. Might be important, but can't make anything out at this stage. Obviously, the book she was writing in was the book that was one of the pictures as well. So so much, all those notes, the book, the mirror, it all was shown here. So good. We haven't even spoken about the hair that's on the floor. Some people thinking it's Howdy, and I think we've got that tweet later. I think it's her hair. I think that you're seeing her after she's been incapacitated, right? And she's kind of lying there on the floor. But other people said that it could be Howdy's hair, but why would he be down there? Why would he be lying on the floor? Unless the hair's connected to the mask, and the mask and hair are on the floor. But live on Twitch. Yeah, this was live over on Twitch, but you get a really good glimpse at the room. That's why I wanted to include that. So here, look, Eddie said, look, things definitely got darker as the video went on. So that's what the video looked like at the beginning, right? You could clearly make out the top of the mirror. You can see inside here. And then, boom, it's like they turn the contrast down. And you can see that the blacks get a lot darker. In fact, it's like the saturation has gone up because all the colors become a lot more vibrant. So it is true. It doesn't gradually change, though. That's very important. You know, it's light at the start and then it's dark. It doesn't like gradually, because as I said, could you imagine if it just like by the end of the video, she's just surrounded in darkness? You know, that would have been really cool. But it didn't change like that. It just seemed to be when she came into the room, it snapped into this. But you can see a difference between the two when she's not in the room and when she was in the room. Yeah, here, look, Nita Nitro said, I really don't think it's her hair. Look how similar it is to his. So there you can see Howdy with blonde hair, and that's the hair that's on the floor. So I'm not ruling anything out. I'm certainly not going to sit here and say, no, it's her hair, right? It absolutely could be this, but if this is his hair dyed, why is he lying on the floor when I think he would be the one taking the picture? What's interesting is maybe he wasn't taking the picture. Maybe, you know, Wyatt 6 came round to help, you know? I don't know. Who is this on the floor? Maybe we get that answer tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow's QR codes shows us the next step for her, you know? I don't know about you, but I want to know what happens to her. I want to know what the next step is for her. I want to know, like, I want to see her being led to this cabin to meet them, you know? I think that might be what we get now. Is we might be following this woman, her journey, as she goes to meet the Wyatt 6. And then eventually she'll meet them. We won't see them, but then they arrive at King and Queen of the Ring. What is this? Said Matt. Yeah, look, see, that looks a bit different, doesn't it, to the image we looked at earlier? It does look more like a snout here. I have no doubt that that's a body. No doubt that this is a body with hands that come up. And this to me is the head here. But it's just, it depends in what moment that you're looking at the clip. You see slightly different things. But yeah, could be a new character. Could be her under a hood. Could be the evolution of a character as well. We don't know. Here's Stevie. He said Matt Hardy's kid is called Evie, and there's an Evie plush in the top corner. So there we go. First picture, the mask is bigger, and the bottom. What if the first is Huskus and the second is Mercy? says Camille. So what I would say about this, Buds, Robert Chase, shout out to you. So what I would say is these could be two separate things. This was a picture from the QR code on Monday. This was the image at the end of today's Twitch stream. They don't have to be the same thing. They don't have to be the same thing. It could be that we're getting a glimpse of Rowan and what he's going to look like, and Loomis or Gacy and what he's going to look like. These could be the beginnings of the reveals of the Wyatt Six. So it's, again, very, very difficult to know what the truth is, where this is going. Let's play this, shall we? What have we got here? Oh, that's the end of it there. You can see the hands at the bottom kind of flare up there. So I very much believe that is, but is it looking down? Is that a mouth there? Is it a thing that's looking down like this with something on its head and its hands kind of come up? I feel like you can see it better here. That looks like the mouth. This looks like the mouth. Closed. Nose. Eyes. Looking more down. Nose. Eyes. Mouth. But then equally, these could be the eyes and that could be the mouth. Big mouth. And then people have said that would make it look like the lantern. Which I like. I mean, this could be a new Fiend type mask, which is very kind of lantern-esque. So, Horror Virgin Meme, shout out to you. Rhythm of Zat Night. I can't remember what that goes to. Oh, is that that? That's not that. What does that bit go to? Oh, that was the Matt Hardy thing. So, appreciate it, my friends. Appreciate it. Right, let's go down. We've got to try and work our way through these bits. There's quite a bit. So, we've done that. We've done that. We've done that. Here we go. The missing woman therapist article isn't dated. Is it possible the whole therapy session was with Bray? It is possible. I don't think it is with Bray. It is possible. I think that this happened. Well, clearly it happened before Monday, because, and there's been an article written about it as well. That article was written, we believe, by Uncle Howdy when you change the letters around, of course. So that article could have been written whenever, but she, I think, has been missing since Monday, of course. So, but I don't think it goes back years and years and years. So just the reason why I say that is because he talks, there's that moment, isn't there, where he talks about let me see if I can call up the, let's see if we can get the QR code from Monday. Let's bring that over. So if we go down, I can't remember what number it was though. So it's not that one that we want. It's the long, do you want to meet them? It was the long one. They were all alone. They were trapped. To let them in. Let's start at the start and then we'll kind of work our way through this. Let's see if we can get this showing on screen. We go, will that help? Let's see if we can get this showing. That might be the best that we can get it right now. We're kind of going a little bit off-road. Do you want to meet them? I set them free. Yeah, this is the one I like. This is the one I like. Let's see if we can get a window capture in on this, shall we? See if we can get it. There we go. That's good. That's good. That works. So I reminded him of who he was and Howdy did that with Bray. I showed him his lies. You might remember Howdy again to Bray said, "You're a liar," right? Now he shows me because Bray has passed. So he's guiding Uncle Howdy. His vision, it is beautiful. And that is what we're doing right now. We are playing out Bray's vision, aren't we? That's why they've come back. They've come back so that we can deal with Bray's vision. We can like perform Bray's vision. We can deliver Bray's vision. So that for me is why I think this is Howdy that's getting the therapy session, right? Right, James said, I'm not sure if you caught it, but the Bo leaved glitch popped up again. So there we go, that popped up during the thing, and I think down here it says we Bo leaved. Here, we've got some great images I found within the last few minutes of the stream. So it seems to be people in caves, which obviously makes a lot of sense considering Plato's cave and all of that. The globe. Oh, yeah, there was a globe on the shelf, but you couldn't quite make out what was in the globe. It said it could either be a reference to the Wyatt house or that he has got the whole world in his hands. I feel like the globe is a reference to something because it doesn't need to be there, but it is there. And I've got to think everything has been looked at as to why it's in the shot, because they know everything's going to be poured over. So the globe has got to mean something, in my opinion, but can't quite make out what's in the globe. So, again, maybe we get a bit more information tomorrow on SmackDown. That's great. Look at this. Look at this. Adersh said, I tried to combine different frames with the final part, and I got this. Now, again, is it looking down? Is that the mouth? Are these the eyes? Or are these the eyes and that's the mouth? I mean, it feels to me like definitely that's the head. Definitely this is the body. These are the hands. But what is this? What is this? That's the big mystery, really. And also where she's gone. Her family would like to know. Put this woman in the Hall of Fame? She was really good. This whole thing was so... I mean, it was nearly an hour long, and it was so engrossing. You just didn't know what was going to happen next. It was so engaging. Really good. Jay Villa said, what if all the QR code videos are from the perspective of the kidnapped therapist? At the end of today's video, it's Howdy putting the therapist in the trunk of the car. Howdy drives the therapist to the Wyatt compound. She gets out. She's lost and confused. And it could be that. It could be that, right? The only reason why I say it's not is there's one part in this video where they're driving and it says something like, I've set them free, or we set them free, or something like that. And it just made me think that he was going to set them free. That's where he was driving to. But it could be that he's got her and she's, like, you know, tied up and they are on their way to meet the others. So I really like that. That's a really fun shout, that. Right, Jamie said from the Twitch stream, there's images of an eclipse where shown multiple times. Some of the questions the therapist asked was about how the person is feeling, eating, sleeping. Through research, the symbolism of eclipse, it says that it can be the time of heightened emotions. So apparently if there is an eclipse, it can disturb sleep and result in intense dreams. A lunar eclipse can only happen on a full moon when the shadow of the earth completely covers the moon. And it is true, they have shown that imagery in these videos. So that is an excellent shout by Janie. Wrestle, Rianne said, I think the last image is actually a person wearing a Predator mask. Bray loved the movie. He even had Predator reference in White Rabbit with the language, and he did, it's true. And it symbolizes his hunting his prey. So it could do. It really could do. The only thing I would say is that this thing at the end feels so big. It feels bigger than even symbolism. It feels like a reveal. It feels to me like it is like either her tied up struggling, or it is the reveal of a new mask, a new character. It feels even bigger than symbolism. It feels even bigger than, let's put in a glitched up Predator to kind of send the message that, you know, he's on the hunt. But I still like it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't include it. So again, just to get your juices going. Oh, I think we put that one in the wrong one. Coach, shout out to you. I took most of the Nightbird video and I slowed it down so that you can read and see everything that's going on. So what I'll do with that is retweet that out so that people can have a little look at that at their own leisure. Sean said to throw a spanner in the works. Throw away. Have we ruled out the face being at the back of someone's head, similar to the idea that the Fiend mask was the face on the back? I'm sure the person is facing the opposite way. The only thing that makes me think they're not is because of the hands. But could the hands be tied? I don't know. I don't know if the hands would be tied backwards, if that would work. You can sort of see the hands kind of flaring up at the bottom, you know? Don't know. I don't know if for me they are... It's backwards, but that idea is very interesting. I see reflection in the bottom of the mirror in this clip. Okay, let's have a little look at this clip then. Let's see what we've got. How long does this go for? Yeah, okay, that's cool. So, again, this kind of just adds weight to the fact she does have a reflection. Look in the mirror. Boom. You see it move there as she sat down. It is strange because I think I really think the perspective of the room is off. So, Eddie, shout out to you. Look at the bottom of the mirror. She sits down. There, you see that movement. So, very good. Very good, Eddie. She should not have asked this question. Who's them? Who are these people? Very good. It's really good. Also in the URL is the Dallas area codes. Right, in some moments in the video, the woman was standing in front of the mirror. Her reflection wasn't appearing. It could just be the angle position, but what if she doesn't exist? I'm going to let you... I included it because I really like it. I really like Bruno. And it is something to think about, but I think we have kind of shown that there is moments where her reflection shows, and I think she is missing. I think she is missing. I can't help but laugh every time I see this. It's great. It's brilliant. It's Bryn again. Yeah. It's time that I reveal that I am the mystery person in this clip, right? It's listen, it's got to be done. It was me. So, yowie wowie. So, there we go. Right, what is this one? This one is... Oh, that's the tagging in the theory that the woman didn't have the reflection. Okay, got that one. So, Jake Cam, shout out to you. So David said, I wonder if Uncle Howdy will return as almost a merged character of Howdy and Bray with a new mask that is a blend of both. Could be what was shown at the end of that stream. Here, look, we've got Man With No Name saying, I think it's Rowan, but if it's not, could they be targeting Bron? All he wanted was a chance at King of the Ring. So that, you know, would explain why we've got this animal-looking thing here. And then maybe a face at the top. So is it that there's a mask here and a face here? You know, could it be that they're targeting Bron Breakker? I wouldn't think so, but it's interesting. And here, look, Adesh saying that could it be something like this? Could it be a Bludgeon Brother kind of Rowan hybrid? And that's kind of what we've got here. You know, is that what we're seeing with the facial hair coming underneath? A lot of people thinking that there could be some respect tribute to Harper in this, Luke Harper, which would make sense. Of course, it isn't just Bray that we've lost. We lost Luke Harper as well. So why does it? So this is Luke. Luke, I believe, was the one that came up with the tied down theory, right? So Luke said, watching your stream, and I saw you talk about this. Why does it look to me like someone is tied down, wiggling their hands to get free with a mask or bag, sort of ghoul or scarecrow on their head? Could it be the therapist? I mean, it could be that that it's her and there's like a bandana there. Could that be a bandana? Could this be a face with a bandana? Is that a bandana and that's a face there? And hair, look. This bit here looks like a sheep's mask. That looks like a sheep's mask, but that looks like a face behind the sheep's mask. That looks like a bandana with a sheep's mask on the print. So, looking at this clip here, this looks like eyes and a face. This looks like hair to me, but they seem to have a bandana or something with a sheep's mask kind of print on the bandana. That's sort of how it comes across. And then they do seem to be doing that. Right, Big 12 Santa Knight said the gematria number seems to be 39, which added together is 12. The original URL was 121212. I don't know what that means, right? 121212 would be 36. But here, this, I don't even know what this is. This is some kind of code cracking device to see what can be found. No words, no letters. The number 39 keeps popping up. So we don't think this is the URL. We don't think that Twitch URL is going to mean anything, because on Twitch I could understand it being hard to influence that. So that might just be a dead end, but good work looking into it. This is the video adjustment. So again, is that a face with a bandana in front? I really do see a sheep's mask here. Some sort of goat, some sort of sheep's mask. Eric said, I think we've all missed the most important clue, her Starbucks. I didn't have the thing here, but it was mentioned. Is that a reference to Alexa? Because Alexa on A Moment of Bliss used to have coffee a lot. You know, if people are thinking that that soft toy is a reference to Matt Hardy, could that have been a reference to Alexa Bliss? It could just be a coffee. It could just be from Starbucks, right? And it might be nothing more than that, but it's still worth a mention, right? Now, the other final bit that I've got is that there was extra things that were shown. So we need to go over here and we need to find this. This is what we needed to find. Lovely. So this here was one of the clues from Monday. And you can see it says, how are you doing? I crawled out of the cave so I could set them free. What are your goals to remind them? What challenges are you facing? I'm afraid they won't understand. How do you feel? I finally know my purpose, and soon everyone will see. The other thing that needs mentioning is that this is a chair that we did not see. So I think this was the chair that Howdy was sat on. Now, she wrote these questions and then she left the room so that he could answer them. And what was interesting is, over on this side, we can't see what these questions are, and we can't see the answers. But during this 50-minute clip, we hear these questions and we hear these answers. And that was one of the most exciting moments for me, was finding that stuff out, because I wanted to know what that was, right? So we actually got those bits. And I'm just going to bring her on, right? So this was the new information. So these were the questions and answers. So how are you working to better yourself? And the answer was, I realized I am a vessel. I'm nobody, but I'm all of us. And then the flicker came up with words of the red, which we think red is Bray. So we think that right now Uncle Howdy is everyone, right? He is a vessel now. I suppose he's a vessel for Bray, isn't he? What needs to be done now? What Bray needs doing is gonna have to get done through Uncle Howdy. That is why I believe he is a vessel. Do you think things will get better? And the answer was sorrow makes way for joy. And that has been in a previous QR code, I believe. That was hidden, maybe in the source code even. Sorrow makes way for joy. Do you feel lonely? Not anymore. And it was pointed out that there's a smiley face at the end. And people were saying, does that mean that this is Joe Gacy? I don't think it is Joe Gacy. But what it might mean is that this group is going to adopt Joe Gacy's smiley face as a bit more of a symbol for the group. So I still think this was Howdy, but he popped a little smiley face at the end, so lovely. Do you feel hopeless? And the answer was, I see the vision. And then, how can I help you? Watch and wait. And those were the extra questions that we never got to see. So loads in here and loads that I'm sure we've not touched on. This is obviously a very interesting situation, and we got to see the therapy session, and we got to see all the notes. We got to see the moment the question was being asked. We got to see the responses. We got to see all of that stuff. And we got even some bits that we didn't get in the QR code, like those questions and answers that I just read. Obviously, we got to see all of this imagery, which was in those pictures as well. I think tomorrow we get another QR code. And I think tomorrow we hopefully see them on a journey, heading to wherever they're going. Perhaps she's in the back of the car, a bit frantic, asking, where are you taking me? And maybe it's something like that. I feel like the journey of this woman, and we don't know her name, I feel like the journey of her is hopefully what we're going to stick with, and hopefully what we're going to continue to explore. So, yeah, honestly, this was amazing. Thank you so much to everyone that joined us on the live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I can see it went 6 hours, 10 minutes, right? So we put in a shift, but I wanted to make sure that we did this video as well, because I think all the big stuff that people were tweeting me in, I saved and I put into this video. So this is a reflection, just like how she, I think, has a reflection. This is a reflection of the community's kind of big thoughts, big theories, and the stuff that kind of grabbed my attention, you know? I think there's some really good stuff in this. And even though maybe we didn't get that big reveal, I think we did still get something which has very much got people talking. This is what people are focused on, and of course her. I hope she's fine, but like, this is what everyone is focused on. What the hell was this? And the fact that it dropped right at the end makes me feel like this is big. This is a reveal. This is important. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support as always. See you again next time. Bye for now.